Hi everybody, I'm Piers.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Mike.
And this is Group 37 with Geology 101 at the University of Kansas, and this is our presentation about the Mississippian period. Hope you enjoy.
The Mississippian period is a very important period in the geologic history of the Earth. The Mississippian period is so named because rocks of this age are exposed in the Mississippi River Valley. Key developments from this time period include amphibians migrating onto land, large coal deposits, large limestone formations, which are important because they are a source rock for large oil and gas deposits. But first, let's take a look at the Mississippian's place in geologic time.
This time period represents the beginning of the Earth 4.56 billion years ago to present day.
This is the Phanerozoic eon. It contains the time periods from the evolutionary Big Bang all the way up to present time.
The Cenozoic era begins with the rise of mammals through the evolution of men.
As we leave the now, we'll hop on the timeline and cruise backwards through history. See what's happened along the way.
The Carboniferous contains the Pennsylvanian and the Mississippian periods.
The Mississippian period extends from 323 to 359 million years ago. We ask ourselves some questions about the Mississippian period. Let's take a look at what we found.
But first, true or false? Were the dinosaurs alive during the Mississippian period? The answer is false. They lived through the Mesozoic era, which was more recent than the Mississippian period.
Question 1. What were some of the most important evolutions rooted in the Mississippian period, and what are some examples of creatures that flourished as a result of these evolutions?
During the course of our research of the Mississippian period, we stumbled on a few terms that we'd like to make clear. The first term is Romer's Gap, which is a void in the fossil record stemming from the early Mississippian period, stemming from an extinction event that preceded the Mississippian period, including the first 15 million years of the Mississippian period. Fossils are hard to come by. This 15 million year period includes the time at which vertebrate animals made their transition to land.
Another key term is the arthropod. The arthropod has an exoskeleton, meaning the skeleton is on the outside. Examples include dragonflies, scorpions, and centipedes.
Gastropods are creatures such as snails or clams. Tetrapods are defined as vertebrate organisms with 4 limbs.
Costal ventilation is described as breathing with the assistance of the ribs. Take a deep breath. That is costal ventilation. Prior to costal ventilation, animals use their neck to pump air into their lungs.
Pentadactyl limbs are another important evolutionary advancement stemming from the Mississippian period. Pentadactyl limbs refer to the existence of 5 distinct phalanges, or fingers, and also metatarsal bones, known as wrists. These fingers and wrists were more adept for locomotion on land.
Amniotes, which are tetrapods that are capable of producing an amniotic egg, enabled the ability of reproduction on land. The amniotic egg protected the offspring from the new environment of the dry land.
Another major evolution advance during the Mississippian period was flight.
Costal ventilation, pentadactyl limbs, amniotes, and flight were the evolutionary advancements that enabled tetrapods and arthropods to thrive in the Mississippian.
Question 2. What significant rock formations stem from the Mississippian period?
Major coal deposits formed during the Mississippian period. Coal is formed by the burial and compaction of organic matter, the plant life of the forest. This organic matter gets covered up before it can decay, and with pressure and geologic time, this matter turns into coal.
As you can see from this graph, coal is the most used resource for electricity in the United States.
Do you want to play Mississippian trivia? What famous school chant has its origins in the Mississippian period? Think about your answer, and we'll come back to it in just a moment. Limestone is another major geologic formation from the Mississippian. If you were to drive west on I-70, where the road cuts through the hills, you will have seen Mississippian limestone.
The limestone from the Mississippian period was formed from the remains of coral and crinoids, which are also known as sea lilies. The remains of these organisms covered the seafloor and piled up to great depths. Over geologic time and with pressure, resulted in limestone.
Limestone is a very useful commercial material. It is used in agriculture, architecture, a raw material for cement. It's a great geologic formation for petroleum reservoirs, and it's even in your toothpaste.
To learn more about the geology beneath your feet, check out this website, Kansas Geological Survey, at www.kgs.ku.edu.
Coal and limestone are significant geologic formations stemming from the Mississippian period. Coal is the #1 resource for electrical energy around the U.S., and limestone has many commercial, agricultural, and construction applications. Do you remember our Mississippian period trivia question? What famous school chant has its origins in the Mississippian period?
Question 3. How can the climate of the Mississippian period be described?
Sea levels at the beginning of the Mississippian period were high due to the abundance of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. During the course of the Mississippian period, the plants converted CO2 into oxygen. Removing that greenhouse gas enabled the atmosphere to cool, which enabled the formation of glaciers, which reduced sea levels.
The globe from the Mississippian period would be unrecognizable to the untrained eye. You would think you were looking at a different planet. There were 2 major landmasses during the Mississippian period, Gondwana to the south, and Laurasia to the north. And approximately 300 million years ago, Laurasia and Gondwana combined to form the supercontinent Pangaea.
Increasing oxygen levels throughout the Mississippian period are believed to have aided in tetrapods' migration from a marine environment to the land. These high oxygen levels also enabled arthropods to grow to massive proportions. Arthropleura, as portrayed in this picture, fossil records indicate grew to over 8.5 feet long and is also thought to have had no natural predators.
The Mississippian period began as a humid and warm environment. This environment was favorable for plant growth. These plants converted greenhouse gases to oxygen, enabling the planet to cool. Glaciers formed, sea levels dropped, and arthropods and tetrapods benefited from the high oxygen levels.
Do you think that you've learned anything about the Mississippian period? Select from below. A. Yes, I've learned a lot. B. Yes, I've learned a little. C. I have learned nothing.
What happened?
Strap yourself in, and let's ride the continental drift back to the present.
Thanks everybody for watching. Hope you guys learned some things about the Mississippian period, and thanks again.
Bye.
Chalk, chalk.